The story of Anthony Joshua's preparation for a potential showdown with Jake Paul takes on a life of its own the moment you step inside his training camp. The intensity feels different now, heavier, sharper, almost primal. Joshua isn't just fine-tuning his technique. He is reinventing his physical presence with a level of discipline and focus that reflects a deeper motivation. He moves with the purpose of a man who understands that every slip, every hesitation, every break in concentration can become the difference between dominance and disaster. And guiding much of this transformation is the influence of one of the greatest heavyweights in boxing history, a figure whose aura still inspires fear, Mike Tyson. Inside the gym, Joshua studies Tyson's old-school methods with a level of respect that borders on devotion. It isn't just about copying movements, it's about absorbing a mindset, a fighting identity built on explosiveness, unpredictability, and ruthless efficiency. Joshua practices slipping, shifting his weight with the same low, coiled stance Tyson mastered decades ago. He works on angles, head movement, and those devastating inside counters Tyson was feared for. It's not a cosmetic change. It's a transformation designed for impact, meant to sharpen Joshua's instincts and bring back the ferocity that once made him one of the most dangerous heavyweights alive. But it isn't only Tyson's style Joshua is borrowing. It's also his strength regimen. Tyson built his legendary power not through machines or modern technology, but through the brutal demands of neck bridges, resistance drills, and raw conditioning. Exercises that many trainers today call dangerous or outdated. Joshua has added them to his routine anyway, embracing neck rolls, bridges, and weighted flexion drills that strengthen the muscles supporting his jaw and spine. He says they increase stability, power, and resilience, allowing him to deliver and absorb heavier punches without risking injury. It's a direct inheritance from an era when fighters were carved by grit rather than science, and it shows in the way Joshua's body is starting to harden again. Even Tyson himself acknowledges Joshua's potential, urging him to stay active, keep fighting, and refuse discouragement. Tyson insists that a fighter only loses when he quits, and that every layoff dulls the blade of a champion. For Joshua, those words land heavy. His journey has been filled with triumphs, knockouts, criticism, and reinvention. And Tyson's message reinforces the truth he already knows. The only path forward is through constant combat, pressure, and challenge. Joshua's determination to improve shines in every clip of his training. The focus in his eyes. The torque in his shoulders. The renewed sharpness in his jab. He's rediscovering aggression, rediscovering rhythm, rediscovering himself. But as Joshua refines his craft, the talk surrounding a potential fight with Jake Paul grows louder. Eddie Hearn maintains full confidence in Joshua's ability to obliterate Paul, but he warns fans not to minimize such a victory. Hearn remembers what happened when Joshua knocked out Francis Ngannou, a powerhouse who had just gone toe-to-toe with Tyson Fury and nearly won. Critics dismissed it, chalking it up to Ngannou's MMA background. Hearn refuses to let the same narrative repeat itself. He argues that Joshua's success comes not from lucky matchups, but from the discipline and rigor that define his training camps. Still, not everyone embraces the idea of Joshua fighting Paul. Nigel Benn calls influencer boxing an insult to the sport, arguing that fighters who dedicate their lives to boxing don't receive the financial opportunities being handed to viral celebrities. To him, a former two-time heavyweight champion stepping into the ring with a YouTuber undermines the competitive spirit of boxing. He insists Joshua should be fighting top contenders, not crossover attractions fueled by social media hype. On the opposite side of the spectrum stands Ade Oladipo, who sees the situation from a purely financial angle. $100 million for Joshua? It's a decision he believes no logical fighter would refuse. Joshua, a former unified champion with years of battles behind him, could secure a life-changing bag in a fight that presents minimal risk. For Oladipo, legacy may be important, but generational wealth is undeniable. And the truth is, most fighters never see that kind of money no matter how good they are. Turning down such an opportunity would be almost unthinkable. Fans find themselves divided, torn between frustration and fascination. Some see the matchup as the ultimate mockery, a seasoned heavyweight stepping into the ring with someone who built their name online. They fear this spectacle will pull Joshua away from a long-awaited showdown with Tyson Fury. Others are curious, unwilling to look away from the train wreck spectacle that could redefine crossover boxing. Yet the possibility of Joshua versus Paul hinges on more than interest. Promoters, broadcasters, networks, and scheduling still create internal obstacles. Analysts like Shane McGuigan question whether the fight will ever materialize at all. He calls the idea far-fetched, pointing out that negotiations, obligations, and credibility concerns could derail everything before a contract is even signed. But as more voices weigh in, the debate refuses to die. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's evolution continues to surprise people. While once dismissed as a gimmick, he is now starting to gain reluctant respect from the boxing world. Analysts acknowledge that he trains seriously, studies the sport, and accepts increasingly difficult challenges. His wins over older fighters may not impress purists, but they demonstrate grit and commitment. Anderson Silva, a legend, pushed him, yet Paul still stood his ground and delivered damage. Observers note that Paul's opponents aren't taking dives. They're simply outmatched by a younger, stronger fighter who hits harder than they expect. But none of this changes the reality that stepping in against a man like Joshua would be a leap unlike anything he has attempted. There is also the financial machinery behind the scenes, one that analysts hint Jake Paul understands intimately. Conversations swirl about how much Joshua earns, how much he spends, and whether outside factors might motivate him toward a fight this unconventional. Boxing is not just a sport. It's an industry filled with risks, debts, obligations, and opportunities. A fight offering nine-figure paydays to both men becomes impossible to ignore. And according to rumors, Paul might earn close to $90 million for this one fight alone. Numbers like that change everything. The world of boxing stands at a crossroads where athletic legitimacy meets entertainment spectacle. Joshua continues sharpening his craft in the gym, embracing the discipline of a bygone era while carving a new path forward.